Welcome to the Private Practice Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Storm, here to help you unlock the mind, business, and spirit of your private practice success. So whether you're just starting out or you're looking to grow, this is the place for you if you really want to create a thriving private practice. Before we dive in, I want to share something that can really make a difference in your business. Imagine having an expert in your pocket, someone available on demand whenever you need guidance. Well, that's exactly what my new program, Practice Momentum, offers. With over 30 years of experience at your fingertips, you can now get the support you need whenever you need it. Curious? Head over to brooklynstorm.com to learn more. Welcome. This is just going to be a quick-ish episode because I have an appointment at 9 and it's 20 past 8. So I'm just going to share this one. If I have some time left over, I will talk with you about what's going on behind the scenes over here, because you know me, there's stuff going on. There's stuff going on with ADHD, there's stuff going on with my own business planning, there's stuff going on with identity, there's stuff going on with wearing all the different hats, and there's stuff going on as a result of I hosted a live Q&A recently and it brought up a lot of stuff, and I'm still trying to process that. So we'll talk about that as well at the end if there's time remaining. If not, I'll just carry it over to Saturday. But what's on my mind is we're coming into the next quarter, right? The next quarter is October, November, December, and I want it to be different for you because I want you to be able to feel like you're in control of the practice. I'm going to share with you a simple way of having that control and break it down so that you're able to implement it. Here's what we're going to do. Stay with me because I know you're going to think, oh, it's boring and I don't want to do it. But I'm going to show you again, as I just said, like how you can be the leader in your practice so that we can get the business working for you rather than you reacting to it. So here's the thing. We're going to do a business plan. If I didn't just say that, sorry. We're going to do a quick business plan. But the reason why I want to do this is because I also know that for the longest time, I never had a plan. And the reason I didn't was because I thought they were boring. I thought they was something men did in, banks and insurance companies. I didn't feel like they were really relevant to, listen, right? I was so naive. I didn't really think it was relevant to me. It didn't apply to me. It's because I was like, well, it's only me and my business. I don't need a plan. Like, I'm not Coca-Cola. I don't need a big plan. And what would happen for me was that I see now, didn't realize it then, but the chaoticness, I guess, of running a private practice was because I didn't have a plan. There were also, when I say the chaoticness, I guess what I'm referring to there is being very reactive in the business. So for me, back then, before I knew better, I just thought turning up and seeing clients and going home at the end of the day, like at the medical centre, I thought that was running a private practice. Turns out, no, that's just you turning up at a medical centre doing work, right? It wasn't until I went and leased my own place outside of a medical clinic that a lot of the learning happened, and that's where many of you are when you first start, right? You maybe are doing it from home, you're alone, you don't have the water cooler conversations with other private practice owners, or you're there in a brick and mortar building, renting a consulting suite, renting a room somewhere, and you don't have people to talk to. So what ends up happening is you start to see the bookings as the business, but it's not. The bookings are a result, I guess, of how you're running the business, and they form just a little piece of the pie. Actually, what just popped into my head then was, Trivial Pursuit, how it's got like the circle and you put the little pieces of the pie in it. Yeah, it's kind of like that. I think that the bookings are just one little piece, but those bookings are determined by how you run the business. So when you're not aware of that, you think, oh yeah, okay, I've got this many bookings, I must be doing great, business is doing great, or my bookings are feast and famine, therefore the business is that and the other. I want you to understand, no, the bookings are the result of what you're doing, okay? It's not the other way around. And the other thing that I can share with you is, like many women in private practice, whether you're starting or whether you've been in it for a little while, is this, it's like it's all we focus on. And then we kind of do a little bit of marketing around it, right? We maybe post some stuff on social media, or, we'll go in groups and ask people for help about what other directories do we need to be on to get more bookings. So our focus becomes solely and wholly on that without really understanding everything else. So when the bookings become low, instead of looking at the business and how we're running the business and what the business needs to do differently to change it, our focus is still on clients and bookings. And so we just start grabbing at things. And that's what I mean by being chaotic and being reactive. And when we're grabbing at things and clutching at things without any real rhyme or reason other than the drive, or I've got to get a client or else this is going to happen, I'm not going to be able to pay myself, or, or all of that kind of stuff, it's a big thing. So I want you to get off that hamster wheel, and I just want to let you know that a business plan can be feminine, and a business plan can absolutely work with your ADHD. So let me give you a couple of perspectives, right? I think in order for a plan to work, you need to have both the masculine and the feminine energy in it. Again, I'm just going to reference myself. Before I even did a business plan, I thought they were boring because I don't like planning. I don't like structure. I don't like being told what to do. I don't like being locked into things. I know now that's because of the ADD, right? And I like the freedom and the flexibility and stuff. But also, I just felt plans were like a guy's thing. Like, that was my mentality. I just thought girls don't do planning, like women just don't do that. This was my mentality because I've never been around women that planned. Like, I just never knew what it looked like. So here's what I know now, 30 plus years in. You can have a plan. The best plans are the ones that are masculine and feminine. What do I mean by that? Let me explain. The masculine is making sure that we've got some structure, right? We need to have the structure. When I speak about masculine and feminine energy, you can go back to other podcast episodes and hear all about that. It's fascinating stuff. But if you're just catching up, I think the Cliff Notes version of it is in this sense anyway. Think of it like, I use the house analogy. The masculine energy wants the blueprint, and then it's going to take care of constructing the house. It's going to get the slab laid, it's going to get the foundations built, it's going to get the framing, it's going to get the house to lock up, right? And then the feminine comes in and makes it beautiful, makes it nice to look at, makes it a nurturing space, lots of different textures, the right colors. We'll invite people in for a housewarming. She wants connection with people. She's building relationships in that house with friends or children or family, or do you know what I mean? There's a sense of community because she's connecting to the community, and now people in the community are coming to the house and things like that. She's cooking in the house, there's music in the house, those kinds of things, right? But she could never build a house. Here's the thing. If you try and create a business plan just on the masculine, it's not going to work, because in order for it to work in your private practice, you need to be able to show up in the feminine, right? You could have a structure for your business plan that says, right, in October, I'm going to do this, November, this, December, this, and here's what I'm going to do each week, and da-da-da-da. And you could do those things, but it's going to be not fulfilling. When it's not fulfilling, you're not going to get a dopamine hit. When that doesn't happen, like the joy is not there. It's not going to be something you look forward to, connect to. not going to connect to it because you're disconnected from how this is serving your community, how it's serving your clients, how it's serving you, all those kinds of things. So if you just write out, here's what I need to do, which many of you have done, I know, and I did the same thing, right? You've heard about my journey with planning. I've spent hundreds of dollars, if not thousands, on, like in air quotes, the best planners that were recommended by, leaders in the field. And I have sat down on a Sunday afternoon with my stickers and my highlighters and my special pens and markers, and I've written out what needs to happen over 12 weeks. And then I look at it on Monday and I'm like, ugh, like I just can't. So you need to have the feminine. Now, if you don't have the structure, if you say, it's still not for me, I'm still not convinced this is something that I really want to do, I'm just going to keep doing it the way that I am. Here's what happens. Without the structure, the feminine goes a little bit cray-cray. Structure likes forward-moving structure. The masculine energy likes forward-moving action. It likes to tick things off. It likes to see that it's making progress toward a goal. It likes to experience the achievement of a goal. It feels very proud of that. It likes that focus. The feminine, though, is not about forward moving. The feminine is like, yeah, I've got an idea of what I want to do, but do you know what? I don't mind if we don't have a roadmap. I'm happy to just let my intuition guide me about how I'm going to get there. So I'm just going to show up in my business and do the things I feel guided to do that day. And, one day it might be marketing. The other day, maybe I'm going to have a tinker on my website, stuff like that. So what happens is, because she doesn't have the structure, she's feeling very fulfilled because she's loving working with her clients. She, finds that very rewarding. She's all about giving and caring and nurturing. So she focuses on that. And then when it comes to the business side of stuff, she has, busy weeks and slow weeks. She has weeks where money's coming. She has weeks where it's not. She's very in the emotions, like she's either feeling loved up by her work, the work she does with her clients. She's enjoying spending time in Canva, being creative, or she's enjoying mapping out the next course or the next program or making the next freebie, right? She loves doing that. She's got lots of ideas on all the ways she wants to help people, but she doesn't finish anything. She's got lots of uncompleted projects in Canva, in Google Docs, half-finished things over here, there, and everywhere. And she feels like, because she's doing so much, right? She's moving all the time because she's doing so much. She's over here and she's over there. She feels like it should be working because, I'm doing stuff. I'm pretty busy. I saw some clients this morning, and then I spent this afternoon changing my website, and then I was working in Canva, and I made this great handout, and blah blah blah, and I stayed back really late and all of this, but it's not working. And I was in I was marketing on social media, and I made these things for my social media, and it's just not working. So she's kind of very easily distracted, directionless, has an idea that it would be nice. Wouldn't it be nice to have a fully booked diary? Oh, it'd be so nice to be able to pay myself. Oh, it'd be so nice to be able to spend school holidays with kids, right? But at the same time, the emotions go the other way when things aren't working out. When it's the not busy week, she starts to doubt herself. She starts to wonder if people like her. She starts to wonder if she's good enough. She starts to wonder if she's really cut out for this. She gets into imposter mindset. Her fears start coming up again. She's thinking, maybe I don't have enough clients this week because it's cost of living and people can't afford it. And yeah, I want to be affordable and I don't want to deny anyone. So she goes off down this, right? Again, just gut instinct, but it's not even gut instinct. It's ego mindset, trying to keep her safe because she doesn't have the plan. So she's trying to imagine, guess, and do all of that. So, she's all about showing up on the day and being super helpful, super supportive. But she's also, when you're in that feminine energy, it feels difficult to introduce a strategy because, depending how in the feminine you are, you feel like, oh no, I don't like boundaries. That's going to limit everything. If I put a boundary on my cancellations, that's not fair. People might not like it. I might lose clients. I don't want to do that. Yes, I've got a cancellation policy, but I don't want to use it because it's going to make people feel bad. I don't feel good with it. Or she'll say, no, I don't have a diary management system and you're telling me that I need to have one, but I just don't want, this container around it because I don't want people to feel locked in and suffocated and confined and trapped and pressured. And so all the stuff's coming out. So it's very hard when you're in that feminine energy to bring in structure. It's also really hard if your energy is more dominant in the masculine to bring in the feminine because you see it as floaty, airy, spacey, wishy-washy. Your focus is on, seeing the numbers go up, whether that's revenue, whether it's subscribers, whether it's downloads, whether it's follows, whether it's sessions, whether it's how much you pay yourself, all those kinds of things. Like your focus is solely and wholly on that. So when I suggest to you, well, hey, strategy alone ain't gonna cut it. It's hard. What can happen when you're more focused on the in the masculine side is it costs you relationships. So when it comes to, I don't know, maybe marketing, instead of doing that in the way the feminine would, so the feminine is never going to go into a Facebook community and throw up images that she made in Canva about her session availability and spamming people with links to her diary. Like, she would never do that. I mean, she may if she's in fear mindset, but it's unlikely. The way she's going to fill her diary is by just being present in those groups and participating in the conversations with people. And it's through building relationships that over time, people get to know her, like her, trust her, start reaching out to her. And that's how she builds her diary. It happens through connection. But over here in the masculine, it's, well, I need to do this thing here. Here's the strategy. Here's the way. Here's the process. Step 1, I've got to do this. Step 2, I've got to do that. And we'll follow it to the letter. So what happens when we're in the masculine is there's no space there for connection. When you're not connecting, when those relationships aren't being built, that rapport isn't being built, the trust isn't being built, that sense of this person gets me isn't being built. The nurturing isn't there, I mean, maybe in sessions, this person who might be more in the dominant masculine really likes a manualized treatment approach, or they really like very clear frameworks where we know we're doing this thing and this thing and this thing in these sessions. Somebody over here might really like packages and bundles for structural reasons, right? But it's because they're not making things pretty, they're not nurturing, they're not beautifying, there's no warmth, there's a lack of emotion, everything feels very professional, very corporate, almost very cold. Thinking about websites, somebody who might be in that space probably would create a website that uses language like we, our, and tries to present in a certain way. Likes to use very professional language. The about section reads like a CV. It's very maybe general, very general. A very, I use the evidence-based, this, that, and the other, professional headshots, very kind of, very, very professional looking. Whereas somebody who's in the feminine, mostly, she will have maybe selfies that she's taken. She might, her language is different. Her language is better connecting, right? Because she really understands her clients. She gets it. And so she's able to write in a way that they feel she understands. She does understand, right? She's having these conversations with her clients in online communities, on Instagram, wherever she's connected with them. So she's very tuned into her clients, and it's very easy for her to speak with them. Whereas the masculine who likes a structure is because they don't have that same depth of connection. They don't have that same understanding of, the experiences, the personal experiences, the emotional experiences, the daily experiences that their clients might have. And so they will usually go to something like ChatGPT, and they might throw in a prompt that says, my niche is, busy working single mums with ADHD. Please tell me what their pain points are. And Chatty's just going to pull some generic stuff out. The practice owner is going to take that, run with it, and put it on the website. Whereas the person who's more in the feminine, is already connected to those women, those mums. She's hearing the conversations every day. She doesn't go into Chatty for that, right? She goes into her website and speaks from the heart and soul, and it's very clear that she knows exactly what it's like for her clients. So when we're trying to introduce, feminine approaches to running the business for somebody who's dominant in the masculine energy, it's a struggle because they don't see the value in it. They think it's not important. Their focus is on other things. The clients that work with me that do the best, that get the best results, that get the best outcomes, are the ones that integrate the masculine with the feminine. So I want to encourage you to do that with a business plan. And also because, many people in my world, self-diagnosed with neurodivergence or formally diagnosed with neurodivergence, things like that. I want you to know it doesn't have to be strict and tight and you got to do it, you got to do the tasks, It doesn't have to be like that. I think the easiest way for everyone to have a plan is simply to know what needs to be done, know how to do it, and get all the things done by, the end of the 90 days. I think if you give yourself space where you can, now, of course, there's always going to be exceptions, but I think if you can give yourself space, that works, because whether you have neurodivergence or not, right, our energy goes up and down. It's, I guess, perhaps more noticeable, more impactful if you are neurodivergent, because you get days where you're in hyperfocus, where you experience time blindness, things like that. But you also have days where you just can't work. You just, or the things that you had anticipated being able to do that day, you've woken up in the morning and you just can't right? The energy is not there. The will is there and the motivation is there. And you might even try and, push yourself to get this thing done. But it takes ages. There's a lot of frustration because you're making mistakes, which means you have to redo things and just feels, but you can't let it go. So you kind of keep pushing on. I think just understanding what needs to be done over the quarter and doing it when you have the space and when you have the energy, giving yourself that flexibility works, but conditions apply. For example, if you're like me, you really like a deadline. So I like to do everything at the last minute. When I know I've got 90 days to do something, I'm going to leave it till day 88 or 89 to get it done. So I know for me, I've got this experiment going on in the background of this 100K 90 days. When I realized that I work better under pressure, I just cut that in half and said, okay, my new goal is 100K in sales in 45 days, right? And I'm loving it because I love the challenge. I love the pressure. I love the stress. I'm thriving with this. And it's going great. So you want to understand how you tend to work best. If you're somebody that's like me and you like the pressure, then don't leave everything until 90 days. Maybe if you, instead of a quarterly plan, maybe you have a monthly plan. Okay. And you just say, right, by the end of the month, I want to have these things done. And that way you can do them when the energy's there, when you've got space mentally, emotionally, the bandwidth is there. You're not going to hate on yourself because you didn't get it done. You're not going to feel like you're falling behind. And when the time comes when you are in hyperfocus or when you are in flow and the energy is there, you will see that you get a lot of these things done actually quite quickly. So I'd say for you, think about how you work best. My recommendation is, and we'll walk through it in a moment, it's a very simple framework. Understand how you work best. Also, if 30 days you're going to leave everything till day 29, bring it down again. Just say, okay, this is what I want to get done by Friday, or this is what I want to get done by the end of the day. So there's that. The other thing that is really going to help you is having a focus. So instead of just turning up at the practice and rolling with whatever's happening and then reacting, which can leave you on the back foot, right? Because you never know what's going to happen. It creates anxiety and overwhelm and, all the things. What was I going to say? Have a focus. And you've got a couple of ways of doing this. So for me, I have a vision board that is a visual cue. I look at every morning. I look at while I'm on the computer. I might be waiting for someone to reply to something. And I'll look to the side of my computer at my vision board. Seeing that image, seeing the words and the text that I've put on the vision board really helps me to remember why it's so important for me to do this thing, right? Why it's so important for me to get these tasks done. It's because I know there's chocolate on the other side, so to speak, right? There's this good thing on the other side. So having a way to connect with your focus will really, really help you. Some of you are going to be more in the feminine around that. So thinking about family, right? Oh, if I get these things done, then I'm going to have the ability to take the school holidays off and spend it with my kids, spend it with my partner, catch up with my girlfriends and things like that. Because I've done all of these things, I'm not going to have a quiet period over December and January, right? You'll see other business owners in the communities talk about how December and January are the quiet months. That's BS. They're not the quiet months. They're the quiet months if you don't know what you're doing, right? They're the quiet months if you don't have an understanding of how to run the practice and if you haven't planned for it. Absolutely, they're going to be quiet months, but it's not everybody's story. You get to write your own story. The challenge is when we write a plan, we feel good in the moment, but then when it comes to implementing it, sometimes we don't feel that connection, and that's why having the cue to remember, oh, that's right. If I do these things, then I get to have school holidays off, right? It anchors into what's on the other side, right? And when you start thinking about how much fun you're going to have on the school holidays, all of a sudden it gets more important and more enjoyable to tick these things off, because you see that you're getting a step closer to doing that. And so other ways that can help you with your focus are, I'm really big on visual cues. I think a desktop wallpaper for your laptop or your computer. I think screensaver with pictures of your family. Like, I'm just using this as, for me, it's pictures of a house. Like, I'm manifesting a new home. So for me, it's pictures of a home. It's pictures of sold signs. It's pictures of the country. It's pictures of features I want in the home. It's pictures of the price I want to pay. It's pictures of money left over, to do renovations if I choose to, right? All those kinds of things. So I'm feeding my subconscious mind all the time, because your subconscious mind doesn't know what's real and what's not. So, and it's going to bring you whatever you're feeding it. So I want to be feeding it, this is my home, this is where I live, this is my life. So I'm going to feed it as many visual cues as I can. The other thing that can really work if you're in the feminine is writing, okay? So in the morning, most mornings I like to use my Wealthy Woman card deck and then create for myself a question from that card deck. And I like expansive questions like, okay, this card is telling me that, my wealth is in my wisdom. And so then I'll create a question from that, something like, what's the wisdom that I've gained in teaching women in private practice how to get unstuck, like how to move through the overwhelm? What do I know now that I didn't know then? Well, I know that many of them don't plan. Okay, great. So do I have stories around planning, like what people who didn't plan and what happened, people who did plan and what happened? And I do. And I've got my own stories. And so now I can lean into those, and you hear me do that, right? So this is how you could do it with the feminine for yourself, connecting in with writing, journaling, using cards, visualizing, breathing into your body, right? Breathing in the relationships, the connection, the abundance, breathing in what's on the other side of you having this plan. So things like that can really work. They're going to work better if you make them a habit. You're going to make them a habit by doing it as a daily practice. For me, what worked was habit stacking. So I'm very bright and alert in the mornings. So I like to now have my little daily practice, like 10 minutes or 15 minutes before I start working, right? If you're in the masculine, then what's going to work for you is diarising the tasks. So for you, it's going to look like mapping out the tasks that need to be done, prioritising them in terms of what's going to shift the needle the most quickly, or what's going to take the longest amount of time, the most resources, the most energy and effort, sorting that out, and then putting it in the diary, and then ticking it off. So each week, I've got to see clients, but I also need to do this thing. That's what's going to work for you, because you like structure. What will also work for you is tracking. So for you, instead of having a vision board, what's going to work is you having a progress tracker. So you can print some off on Canva. They've got some images, and you can go and color things in, right? Or you can connect dots to, see your lines going in an upward direction. But for you, that's what's going to work, right? Because you need to see it's working in order for you to keep doing it. So I want you to, if you haven't been business planning or you haven't been able to stick with one, I want you to really, take on board what we've spoken about today and take what resonates with you, leave what doesn't, of course. And the invitation is to think about, okay, in terms of the next quarter, what do I really want to experience? So instead of what do I want to do, think about, how do I want to feel on 1st of January, when I'm looking back over the last quarter, how do I want to feel? Maybe you want to feel connected, accomplished, abundant, like whatever it is. So think about how you want to feel. And also think about the observable, measurable, tangible goals that you want to have, right? Is it more time? Is it more revenue? Is it paying yourself? Like, figure it out. So who do you want to be? What would you want to have achieved, right? And work back from there. So when it comes to how do you want to feel, what do you want to have achieved, that then brings up identity, which is, okay, who do I need to be in order to feel this way at the end of 90 days and have achieved these things, and use that to map out your 90 days. The simplest way to map out the 90 days I've found is to do that. So I just get a piece of paper and I think, okay, it's the end of the quarter. How do I ideally want to be feeling? Well, I want to feel successful. And success, what does that look like? So drill down, like, don't be general and vague. So successful for me means, my clients are getting more results, right? That would be success for me. The revenue's increasing. That would be success for me. So that's how I want to feel. And then what are the results? Well, I want better results for my clients. I want more clients. I want more time available to me and less commitments in my diary. Like, whatever it is you want, put that there. And then do the identity work around it. Okay, who do I need to be? And how is she different to me? What do I need to do to close the gap here? And from there, map it out, right? Map it out. There's not only things to do, there's ways to be, and there's ways to feel. And they're the things that are going to support you. That's what I'm talking about. The successful business plan brings together the masculine, what do I need to do? The feminine, how do I want to feel? But more than that, it's not only how do I want to feel, it's what feeling do I want to be experiencing here? How can I create more of that feeling for myself in the business, right? It's being aware of how your feeling impacts what you're doing. So, for example, if you're feeling not good enough and you're feeling heavy and you're feeling exhausted, but it's in your plan to do the social media post, like, it's not going to go anywhere. You'll do it because you're forcing yourself and you're putting pressure on yourself, and you, like, in inverted commas, know you should. But the feeling isn't there, and people are going to pick up on that. Versus if you were feeling connected, if you were feeling inspired, if you were feeling helpful, that's going to be very different content that you're putting out. And which one do you think is going to work? That's what I'm saying. So I want to think about those things. And then once you've unpacked those, that's probably where the meat of the work is. And that's probably a good afternoon for you to do. Then you want to identify, okay, what are the practical steps that I need to be doing here? And from there, you've got choices. If you're somebody who's mostly in the masculine, I would say map it out, put it in your diary, whether you're using Halaxy, Splos, Clinico, Acuity, Google Calendar like me. Put that thing in your diary as an appointment. So it's blocked off and you're going to get it done. Because if you don't implement right, nothing's going to change and you'll be still here in 6 or 12 months' time. If you're mostly in the feminine, I would say instead of putting it in the diary with a day and a time, put it in the diary as an intention and say, it's my intention. where if it's in the interest of my highest good, my clients, the universe, source, all of the things, I get this done this week, amazing. And just see it and know that when you're in that space that's what you're going to be doing, and be okay with not doing it and carrying it over to the following week. Because with the feminine, the energy flows, right? She's going to be in flow where everything's happening and it feels easy and it feels light, right? It's like the equivalent of us in neurodivergence with our hyperfocus. But at the same time, it's going to ebb. So there's going to be other times where she's feeling like overwhelmed, tired, impostery, like all of that too. So be understanding, have some space for yourself, and be okay with not getting things done that week and just carrying them over to the next. It's totally okay. As long as you're doing things that are moving the needle and you've got your focus, it's going to give you the clarity. It's going to calm you down. It's going to give you the steps. It's going to stop you asking everybody else what you should be doing or what you need to be focusing on. It's going to stop the rabbit holes. It's going to stop the chasing bright, shiny objects. And it's going to start improving your confidence, and it's going to start making you feel like you can do this, because I know that you can. I also know you just never learned it, right? So anyway, this is a snapshot of what it looks like. And if you would like help creating a business plan or understanding, I don't know, is my energy mostly masculine or mostly feminine? Can you help me figure it out? And then help me figure out like a simple plan for October, November, December quarter? Absolutely, I can. I'll put the link in my show notes. You can book a complimentary 15-minute call with me and we can do exactly that. Not a problem. I'm here to help, okay? And yes, of course, it's more complicated than this. When we are in practice momentum, like I'm doing a business planning session with a client this morning, they go for 2 hours, right? It's a big thing. It's not a 20-minute podcast episode, but I want to give you enough stuff here so it's A, not overwhelming, B, maybe it shifts how you've been thinking or feeling about your business plan. That's a clue right there about planning. If you think about it, it's probably in the masculine. If you're feeling, like if you've got a feeling about planning, you're probably mostly in the feminine. That's a very big generalization. But anyway, if you'd like help, the link is in the show notes. Get a 15-minute call and I will help you identify which energy you're in and what kind of plan would look best for you and help you map it out. Okay. But otherwise, thank you so much for listening. It's bang on 9 o'clock now and I need to go and speak with a lovely client. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks so much. Have a beautiful day. Hope it was super helpful. Bye. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Private Practice Podcast. So as you reflect on today's insights, imagine creating real success in your private practice without going down rabbit holes or exhausting yourself with business activities that don't move the needle. With Practice Momentum, you have push of a button help available on demand. It's like having an expert in your pocket ready to guide you whenever you need it. Visit brooklynstorm.com to discover how Practice Momentum can transform your approach to building a thriving practice. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storm, and I'll see you next time as we continue exploring the mind, business, and spirit of private practice success.